guys, this is Angela from We Are Family Homeschoolers, and today I want to talk to you about high school language arts. We have always used textbooks from multiple publishers, and this year we're ditching the textbooks and we're going to do fun schooling. So let me show you how this is going to work for my 10th grader. To start with, I bought everything you need to ace English language arts in one big fat notebook. This is just for reference for my son, just in case he forgets anything. And it's pretty colorful inside. I'll give you a quick look at contents. Okay, so what you're seeing right here is research papers. We're going to use this for my son to write a research paper this year. It's going to tell him how to format it and how to get his ideas and structure it, how to cite all of his resources, how to type it up, make sure he's not plagiarizing anybody's words. So, his research paper this year is going to be on his chosen profession, and I'm going to give him a couple weeks to research that and get his paper written up for me. So that's what this book is for, just for reference. And now let me show you his fun schooling journals. The first one we have is the top 30 grammar mistakes, a do-it-yourself homeschool journal. Let's take a look inside the table of contents. Okay, so this is done independently. There is no teacher's guide. Of course, I will be checking his work. So it's going to go over a grammar mistake and give him an example. And then he has to write a silly rhyme or sentence or some way to help him remember that rule and illustrate it. End of lesson. Another grammar rule. How do I know when to use already or already? An example. Write a silly rhyme or sentence to remember it. Illustrate the rule. So that's how this works. You get imagination breaks, where it tells you what to add to the picture. Tells you how to use your commas, how to write a friendly letter, how to write a business letter. How to use apostrophes, when to hyphenate, when to write numerals, how do you know if you used a run-on sentence, okay, here you need to sorry about that, I had an interruption. Okay, so this is review. How do I know when to use anytime or anytime? So it gives you the grammar mistake that commonly happens, and you have to remember what the rule was that you learned previously and illustrate it. So that's the middle section of the book. Now add your own grammar rule that you want to learn about. How do I know when to use what? List your source for this rule. How are you going to remember it and illustrate it? So your child, if they have any problems at all in grammar, anything specific to them, something that they keep forgetting, this is where they can record that down. All right, copy work. The copy work here, they're going to take out of classic literature, and it has to be a paragraph or a few sentences that go along with one of the rules that they've learned in this book. So that's another section. Here it's make your own story. Use the picture as a prompt. Make sure to use one or more of the grammar rules that you've learned. And that's it for that book. Oh, and then you can write some short stories in the back here. Okay, next book. Oh, this is put out by the Thinking Tree. Another fun school journal we're using this year is 30 Classical Stories. Excerpts from 30 famous works of literature from 1719 to 1912. Pondering the Past. Also put out by the Thinking Tree. This is high school level. Table of contents. Okay, some cute illustrations. So this is how this works. They introduce you to a classic story. They give you a little blip about the author. And then you read a paragraph from that book. Find some vocabulary that's new to you. Write down the definitions. Now you copy 2 paragraphs from any book by that same author. So that you would Google. Write the names and descriptions of the characters. Copy your 2 paragraphs there. Illustrate your story. And what can you learn from the past from the story? And it repeats. So it's introducing you to the author and the story they're most famous for, and then you do the research. What else has that author put out? Copy something, illustrate it, write about a lesson you can learn from it. Pretty simple. You're practicing a lot of spelling and a lot of grammar rules when you get into copy work. So, it's pages for notes, more sketches and drawings. And it repeats. Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. Okay, moving on. This one is another fun schooling journal. It's Classical Fun Schooling Poetry Collection by the Thinking Tree. Level C, high school level. Table of contents. There's 30 lessons here. Okay, it introduces you to the poem. And then you're going to write down the author, his nationality, date of birth and death, an interesting fact about the author, sketch a portrait, write a quote from him, write other works by the same author. Find some vocabulary in the poem that's used differently or that you don't understand. You're going to use Webster's Dictionary 1828.com and kids.wordsmith.net. You're going to do some copy work from that poem. Find another poem by the same author, copy it there. Poetic vocabulary. You're going to write each one of these words down, imagery, metaphor, simile, stanza, symbolism. And you're going to write down the definition and, if you can, an example of each word. And then a new poem. And the exercises repeat. And now here it says take a deeper look. Examples of imagery in this poem. Find an example of a simile. Find an example of a rhyme. How does this poem make you feel? Pages to color. Find another poem by this author. Write your own poem. So every few poems, it goes take a deeper look. Symbolism, simile, imagery, feelings. Pages to color. And that's how that one works. Okay, so here is my plan. My teen is going to use the top 30 grammar mistakes once a week, probably on Fridays. He's going to spend the first semester doing 30 classical stories. He will work on each lesson for 2 days, so 4 days a week he'll be doing classical stories. Friday, the grammar lesson. Second semester, he will be doing the poetry collection, spending 2 days on each poem and the worksheets, so that'll be 4 days a week. And then in the end of the year, he's going to get his research paper done on his chosen profession. And there is high school language arts. This is what we're using for 10th grade. Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe.